Hey, look at that. It's 6:30. It's time for another show. And I am shaven. I shaved. I don't know that did I always have this here? I've noticed it the last couple of months. I don't know that I always had that here. I have to cut the rest of my hair before tonight, before Martial Arts Radio Live. Because I don't know the last time I had a shaved face and I did not completely shave my head. It's really strange. I did it because of time. And I'm sure these are not even. But I wanted to get my face shaved yesterday because it was driving me nuts. So, good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup of coffee. Well, yesterday was a pretty productive day. And I think right now that's the definition of a good day for me. Did I get stuff done? I worked out in the house. I went to the mailbox. And that's it. No. Did a bunch of client work. Did a bunch of whistlekick work. We now have ads for the strength and conditioning program on Facebook. Maybe you've seen them. And we sold one last night. Yay! At this rate, I'm going to make $3 a day. Woo! Because we're spending up to $15 a day on ads. Hopefully we get some data back out of that and we can refine those ads. I don't know. We'll find out. I haven't done Facebook ads other than promoting a certain event or something in years. Way back when I started Whistlekick, Facebook ads were so cheap. We were getting new likes. I was advertising saying, hey, there's this new martial arts company. You should check out what we're doing. And we were getting likes for 2 cents. Legitimate likes. People who have stuck around. For all I know, you watching right now might have been one of those people. And Facebook would come up and they'd say, your ads are performing better than 99% of similar ads. Great. I don't know what I'm doing different. And since then, almost nothing I've done with Facebook ads has worked well. So, it's time to learn more. It's time to do some more with them. So, that's what we'll do. I'm going to keep working on that. See if we can get a little bit of income stream going. What else happened? What else did I do yesterday? Cook some good food. What did I have for dinner? Oh, vegetables and if you saw the raw ingredients I kept in my house and you saw what they turned into, I don't think most people would believe it. I make some really good food out of some really simple stuff. So like yesterday, Costco has these huge, I think they're 5 or 10 pound bags of frozen vegetables. They've got a few different ones. And this one was the peas, carrots, corn, and I don't remember, maybe it's just those 3 things. But huge old bag. And it's like $10. And so I put some of that in a pan and cooked it. And I've got some Thai peanut satay sauce and shook some of that in, poured some of that in, and then a can of sardines. Bam. Mix it up, let it sit, and it was delicious. And that whole meal probably cost me $2, maybe $2.50. I really need to come out with a cookbook. See, I don't know if people are gonna like the way I cook though. When I have friends over, they like the way I cook, but who knows if they're just being nice. I like the way I cook. I like my food. All right. Let's see what you all left for me to talk about today. Gabe says, having a backbone. We talked about talked yesterday about having a backbone, standing up for yourself. Having a backbone does help in standing up to bullies, but having a funny bone and knowing how to use it can be one of the most effective ways to diffuse a situation, which can be such a valuable tool. I was a guest on a podcast years ago, and I talked about my views on self-defense, which a lot of that's come out through the show. If you listen to Martial Arts Radio, you know. Oh, by the way, Martial Arts Radio Live tonight at 8 p.m. on Facebook. Facebook Live. Check it out. I do not teach people how to punch and kick as part of self-defense. Because unless I'm going to get quite a bit of time with them, I'm not going to be able to train them to punch and kick when they're under extreme stress, like in a self-defense situation. But I can teach them some simple concepts, like run away, or be crazy, or be gross, or be self-deprecating. You know, there are a variety of techniques you can use. And how do I know about them? Because this is what I used to get out of fights when I was a kid. They work. One of my proudest achievements is the fact that I've never been in what I would call a real fight. There have been a couple scuffles. And the closest thing I had to a fight, I was in 4th grade. So I don't count it. Because it wasn't a fight. Anyway. Being silly, being crazy, because it doesn't matter who it is. Somebody lines up for a fight, they're expecting certain kind of reactions. And the more off-center you are from giving them that reaction, the more they're going to question whether or not they're making the right choice. If you do A and you expect B and you get Q, now you're not quite sure how to move forward. Did a whole episode on this stuff. I don't remember the number, but you can probably go back and find it. I had to kick the cat out of the bedroom last night. She would not settle down, probably because there was a full moon. But after like the 4th time trying to get her to lay down, I just threw her out of the bedroom and shut the door, and she was not impressed. Oh well, I slept great. Today, Tuesday, April 7th, 2020, is Jackie Chan's 66th birthday. So happy birthday to Jackie Chan. I used to tell people Jackie Chan was my dad. Not obviously because he's actually my dad, but because I looked up to him as an actor and as a martial artist so much. His technique, his choreography, his sense of humor are all wonderful. Excuse me. And all things that I find very admirable in a person. So we've got a few quotes here from Jackie himself. This one's so perfect. Great job, Frank. Coffee is a language in itself. I couldn't agree more. When I was young, I trained a lot. I trained my mind. I trained my eyes, trained my thinking, how to help people. And it trained me how to deal with pressure. Got somebody in the chat asking my personal primary martial arts. If you listen to episode 100 of Martial Arts Radio, that gives you probably the broadest view. But karate, taekwondo, kickboxing, and for the last few years I've been training in Kempo Jiu-Jitsu as well. I'm a martial artist. I'll train in anything. You give me you give me something to train and I'll do it. I think it was last year I took a Aido class at a seminar at Master Terry Dow's symposium, which unfortunately was going to be coming up this coming weekend, but has been kicked back to July. And met a great guy there who was teaching Aido, and was a wonderful teacher. And we started having a conversation. He's like, yeah, you're welcome to come down and train anytime. He was in Pennsylvania, so 8 hours away. And I thought about it. I was like, Jeremy, you already train in like 4 arts. You ought to give some Chinese arts a try. I have. I've done a decent amount of Tai Chi, and there's someone local that teaches some Kung Fu that I've thought about. But it's a time thing, right? A lot of people have one thing that they do, and right now my main thing is whistlekick and getting it off the ground, and it seems like martial arts training would go along with that, but it's actually counter to that because it's a time commitment. At that same event last year, there was a wushu session that I absolutely loved. That I had so much fun. If it was up to me, I would just train in 4 or 5 different things at a time. Maybe not. Maybe 2 to 4 week intensives, and then move on to the next thing. Because there's something to learn in every martial art, and part of why I like the Kempo Jiu-Jitsu school that I train with is that there is a tremendous Chinese influence in the movement, in the way that Kempo is practiced. Because I was looking for something Chinese, and here in Vermont, we don't have a lot of options for Chinese martial arts. Going back to that quote, and it trained me how to deal with pressure. I think if there's anyone who knows how to deal with pressure well, it's Jackie Chan, right? I mean, breaks a bone in pretty much every movie he's ever done. Still finishes those films. And the ability to be so joyful in life when so many people expect so much of him. Do you know he's a singer? We did a profile episode of Jackie Chan, which someday I hope to replace with an actual interview. So if anybody out there can help me get to Jackie Chan, let me know. Would love to talk to him. He's been a role model to a lot of people, myself included. Oh, this is a great one. Good one to end on. I'll keep talking though. Being still and doing nothing are 2 completely different things. Being still and doing nothing are 2 completely different things. Anyone who's ever meditated knows the difference. Doing nothing. I can lay on the couch. I can just and stare into space and do nothing and waste time. Or I can sit and I can be still. And that could be meditative, might not be. Doing nothing is doing nothing. Being still is doing something. It is a choice. It's an intent. It's an action that takes effort. Most of us could be still for, 15 seconds, a minute, maybe 5? How many people could stand there and just be still and not move and not check their watch or their phone or whatever for 5 minutes and not feel like they were wasting time and being useless? Now, I'll admit, I struggle with stuff like this. My meditation comes in the form of a number of different things that I do through the day. This is one of them. Meditation is a way of getting in touch with yourself and opening yourself up. This is a really different way of doing that. I'm not saying this is meditation, but I'm saying that this is similar in what it achieves for me. I've gone through phases where I meditate. I enjoy meditation. I still struggle with an outside voice telling me meditation is a waste of time. I know it's not. I believe it's not. But many of us have outside voices that we struggle to quiet. I have one. I have a few. And I'm working on it. Right? All you can do, work on it. I suppose it depends why you're doing it, why you're meditating. Absolutely. There are a lot of different reasons to meditate. The one that I find most fascinating is that it actually can physically change the brain. There's some interesting science that's come out over the last few years about how meditation changes the brain. And I know that there's plenty more research going on about that right now. If you're unfamiliar with the service Brain FM, brain.fm, I've mentioned it on this show a number of times. It's great. We have no relationship with them. I pay for it. It's $7 a month. It's probably the best $7 a month I spend. They've got a meditation section where they have this music that has, how do I explain it? The music has a layer of tones and sounds underneath it that you can tell it's there, but you start to tune it out, that can help bring your mind into a meditative state. And I know it sounds wonky, but they have a free trial. Give it a whirl. The way I use it, they have several different sections, different kinds of music. They have a focus one, and I generally have that on at my desk. And I am able to hone in and just get work done. It's awesome. It really is great. I keep looking out the backyard every morning. We'll come back to that in a moment. I haven't seen deer out there in over a year, and it bums me out. When I was out working in the yard this weekend, I saw plenty of evidence of deer. What I was interested to see is that I did not see, or I did see, old apples on the ground, which meant either the deer are not around as much, or they had a pretty easy winter, which, that's good. That's good. All right, we had a question come up. We'll go through this one and then we'll probably call it a day. How do you think the whole MMA game has affected the traditional martial arts world? Ooh, I catch a lot of flack when I answer that question. And if you go back, I think it's early, it's like pre-episode 100 of Martial Arts Radio. I did an episode called, what do we call it? Where's the martial arts in MMA? Something like that. And I'll make sure I answer the question right. I think MMA has had a number of effects on traditional martial arts. And obviously not going to have a chance to get super deep into any of them, but overall, I think MMA has given traditional martial artists some more information about what can and cannot work, what may and may not work with regard to technique. I think it has encouraged traditional martial artists to cross-train, which I have always been an advocate of. And then I think for non-martial artists, it has had a negative impact on the way people see traditional martial arts, because there is a cross-section of the population, I don't know how big it is, that Gabe says it's episode 41. Wow, that was early. That was one of the first, let's see, 35, 7. That was like the third or fourth Thursday episode. Wow, that's cool. Thanks, Gabe. It's almost like Gabe should help produce a show for Martial Arts Radio or something. Gabe is, of course, the producer for Martial Arts Radio Live, and he's a good friend, and he's become a valuable member of the team. There is a cross-section of those who do not train, who confuse MMA and traditional martial arts. They think when you say martial arts, you mean MMA. I've had a number of people. I have a martial arts company. Oh, like MMA stuff. No, not like MMA stuff. And if you look, you will see that we do not sell anything that one might consider MMA. We don't sell fingerless gloves. We do not, though we probably will at some point, sell boxing gloves. We don't sell MMA shorts. We don't bring on guests who are exclusively MMA fighters. When we have had UFC fighters come to the show and want to be guests, and I have turned them down because they aren't, oh, I've got a blue belt in BJJ. You're not a traditional martial artist. You've done some traditional martial arts. You're a mixed martial artist. There's a difference. And so I'll watch MMA, especially amateur. I think it's great to watch. I think it's fun sometimes, depending on who's fighting. But when you have someone like Conor McGregor, who is the most recognizable face in MMA, doing such horrible things in and out of the ring, you can't tell me that there aren't kids being denied access to karate and taekwondo because the parents don't fully understand the difference between that and what they'll learn. People want their kids to grow up to be like the people they see out there. I'm sure wrestling and professional wrestling have a similar challenge. I'm not a wrestler. I've never been a wrestler, so I don't know what that is like, but I can't imagine that the two aren't related. That they don't have the pro and actual wrestling versus MMA and TMA don't have similar challenges. I wished MMA had been called something different. Mixed martial combat is what I've advocated for. And, people hear this and they defend it. But I'm not attacking it. And that's the thing that I think people don't seem to realize when I make this distinction. There are similarities. There is overlap. Somebody could be both. But when I go to a typical mixed martial arts competition, well, I should say, when I go to a mixed martial arts competition, I've been to a few. They're all amateur. They've all been in Vermont. They've all been in Vermont. No, I've been to some in other states. When I go to watch amateur MMA promotions, and I go and I watch, I've been to hundreds of traditional martial arts tournaments. There's the disrespect, the anger, the negative emotions, basically the things you don't want your kids to grow up to be, happens orders of magnitude more in MMA versus a traditional competition. There are always exceptions. I'm not saying there aren't. But I'm saying that MMA, I have no way of quantifying this, so I don't know how much, but philosophically, logically, MMA hurts TMA. And that bums me out. Oh well. We're working on it. This is why it says, yeah, kind of sad, really. Well, it is. But pendulum swing back and forth, right? The world is ready for traditional martial arts to take a step forward. that doesn't have to be from us. Right now, it can't be from us. There isn't nearly enough money. But phase one of whistlekick from day one has always been about generating enough money that we could start pushing traditional martial arts out and doing some things that would increase adoption and exposure. But maybe it's a good way to keep the severely psychologically damaged out of TMA classes. Maybe. Maybe it is. But at the same time, those people need, some of them, many of them, need structure and guidance and a lot of the things that are core to the way traditional martial arts are taught. There are a lot of different ways to teach mixed martial arts, and some MMA schools are taught by traditional martial arts instructors. Sometimes the difference between an MMA program and a TMA program is a lack of a uniform and a lack of a belt. Okay, cool. A lot of different ways to do that. And I'm not going to say that one is better or right because it's not my world. I work really hard to, if I talk about MMA, it's from the perspective of traditional martial arts because that is my world. I've been in this world since I was 4 years old. I know a lot of people in it. I've spoken to a lot of people about it. My feelings are well documented through writing and audio and video. And I will do anything I can to help grow, spread, advance traditional martial arts. I have invested beyond 100% of what I have into this company for the purpose of growing the traditional martial arts. I'm in Korea, and as you can imagine, Korean art's the primary game here outside the MMA stuff. And it's not to say that traditional martial arts don't have their skeletons. Taekwondo's got some pretty big skeletons. Well, first cup is done. Just a little stuff at the bottom. In case anybody's interested, I haven't shown this in a while. This is how I make my coffee. Oh, it dripped. This is how I make my coffee. Basically, I use a tea strainer because it makes cleaning it up really easy, and I throw it in the compost, and I'm done. All right, I'm gonna go. Great conversation, and thank you. I see your screen name, but I don't know your actual name. Thank you for joining us. And anybody listening, watching, remember, we do this show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time here on YouTube. Of course, it's available for you to watch later. Ask questions, leave comments, and I will answer them or respond to them tomorrow. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope whatever you do, remember what we talked about with Jackie Chan, keeping a sense of humor and I'm going to read this last one again. Being still and doing nothing are two completely different things. Maybe you find some time for some stillness today. That's generally what I do right after this show. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.